Hey there, it's time for the March update of how my Ezoic sites are doing. We'll look at how much money the sites made, kind of what I did on them, how that kind of moved the needle, if any of these sites were hit by the algorithm update. I think one was, so we'll get to that in just a moment. All right, let's get started. Okay, first up we have site number 1, a food and drink niche site. Right off the bat, the first thing I want to point out is that somehow the EPMV actually managed to drop on this site in March. It's not really normal to see, your RPM or your EPMV drop when you are in the last month of a quarter. That's usually when you have the highest, RPMs and EPMVs. So I was a bit surprised to see that this one dropped, almost $1. So that's kind of not great, right? So how did that affect the income? Well, overall, the income for this site was actually down for the month of March. It's not just that EPMV though. If you'll notice here, I pointed out that the traffic is actually down on this site as well. Last month it was doing 55 visits per day. Then for March, just 41. So we had a considerable traffic drop, was that 10 visits a day, roughly 15 visits a day. So not great. So I'm not really sure what's going on right there. This is the site where I had the domain name change and things kind of haven't been going great with that. I'm still kind of sticking with this new domain, going to see what happens with it. I also have some domains that I got from GoDaddy Auctions to 301 to this site to kind of see if that gets it back up to where I started before I made the domain change. I haven't actually done any of those 301s yet, but I will be doing that very soon. I also managed to get 10 new articles up and live on this site. I am now optimizing all of my content using ScaleNet. It kind of works similar to Surfer, Phrase, anything like that you may have used. When I bought into it though, just maybe a month or two ago, basically the reason why I chose it over the others is that you can optimize more articles per month for the money. If that's something that you're interested in, I do recommend it. They have a 7-day trial. You can, take it for a test drive and see what you think. I also have a code that I will list down below that gets you 10% off if you do go into, a paid version of this. Like I said, I use it only for the content optimizer. It also has some AI content writing in it. I've only tested that out just a little bit and I wasn't impressed, but you may like it more than I do. But like I said, I do recommend it for the content optimizer. Okay, back to this site though. If you recall from last month, this is one of the sites that I decided to test Humix on, just to kind of see how much extra money can having videos being displayed with the regular Ezoic ads make me. Now for this particular site, I wanted to test uploading 0 videos of my own and only displaying videos that other people created within Ezoic, right? So that would be anyone else who is uploading videos to Humix for their site and enabling sharing, then that would get shown on my site and other people who want to display those videos. And then the revenue is split between me for showing the video as well as the person who made the video. Overall, I wasn't really impressed with this strategy. I made a grand total of 5 cents, which should be reflected in the screenshot you see and that total Ezoic income of $8.85. Now, you can see that this site only had around 1,300 visits for the month. So, how much could you make if you had a lot of traffic? Obviously more than 5 cents, but would it be worth it? I don't really think so from what I've seen. Okay, let's head on to the next site. Site number 2, this is my site that's in the religion and spirituality niche. This site I've been running an AI-assisted content experiment on for several months now. I think we're probably going on 6 or 7 months now. I guess it's no longer an experiment because it continues to do well. I did get a total of 10 of these up on the site, optimized them again with ScaleNet. Now, I do want to point out the AI content did not come from ScaleNet. It was primarily ChatGPT. I am paying the $20 a month for that. So I'm getting the output of that, and then I'm kind of, editing it, making sure it has, basically all the headings and stuff that I want, kind of, I guess, making it sound less like AI. I mean, basically the telltale sign that you're getting AI content. So I'm taking out all that kind of stuff and making it read a little more human. I'm also basically inputting a lot of slang, so contractions and things like that to kind of make it read like it's more human. So this site actually did have an increase in EPMB for the month, so that was great to see. So the total revenue for just Ezoic was $647, including, everything all in, we're at $13.28, which was overall up from February. So let's see what else here. We have traffic. It was also up. So back in February, I was getting 96 visits a day, but for March, we got 114. So we have a nice combination here of a traffic increase and an EPMV increase, which led to a revenue increase. So that's definitely what we want to see. And like I said, for about 6 months now, I've been doing nothing but AI assisted content on this. Prior to that, I was paying a subject matter expert 8 cents a word. So obviously in this particular niche, I don't think I need to pay anyone else to create content for the site. It's going to be all AI assisted content basically from here on out for this site until it stops working, right? I also want to point out that this was the other site where I was testing Humix. Now, unlike site number 1, I actually created 2 videos myself to upload to, Humix to see, like, will I make more money, with Humix if I'm showing my own videos in addition to those that other people have shared. Now, one thing I'm actually interested in as well is for the long term, what is more profitable, for a site like this? Is it more profitable to use Humix, or in the end, will it be more profitable to grow a YouTube channel? So I actually created a YouTube channel as well, and I've uploaded those 2 videos to it as well. Obviously, that's not earning any money. 2 videos, you're not going to get monetized, unless you buy an existing channel, right? So while I made 0 money and had very minimal views on YouTube, I did end up making 30 cents on Humix. So we're looking at here, just over 3,500 visits for the month, and I made 30 cents. So while it is more than the 5 cents that the other site made, I still am not convinced that this is really worth your time. I am going to keep with it just so I can do that Humix versus YouTube experiment. But right now I'm having a hard time seeing the benefit of this. So we'll see. I actually did do a write-up on Humix over on Skip Blast. I'll leave that link for you down below in case you want to read a little more in depth about what I did there and the results that I got. All right, let's look at site number 3. Okay, this is my second site that is in the food and drink niche. This site, it's really painful to look at this site for me because it was doing really well not even 6 months ago. And it continues to kind of drop in traffic. This is the site that I think may have gotten hit by the algorithm update. I haven't actually dug into the analytics to double check that yet, but that's just my guess right now, because we went from 82 visits a day in February to just 63 visits a day for March. So we had a decent traffic loss. We also had an EPMV drop. While it wasn't as substantial as the other site, it still hurts to lose, money on your EPMV, when you're in that final quarter, that final month of the quarter. So that's kind of unfortunate. So what did that result in? Of course, we saw income being down for this site, as well as traffic, and even the overall income. No other money coming in from Amazon or anything made up that difference. So this site only made $13.72 for the entire month. Like the other sites, I did manage to get 10 new articles up on this site, primarily informational articles that were kind of short because that's really all that it called for to rank for those particular keywords. And again, I did use ScaleNut to optimize these articles as well. Right now, I'm just going to kind of keep on doing what I'm doing with this particular site. If it was algo hit, I have enough experience knowing that you can basically do nothing and see a recovery. That's normally what I do with algorithm hit sites, unless I can pinpoint something specific that I think caused it to get hit. So I'll probably dig into the analytics to see if I can pinpoint anything. Otherwise, I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. Okay, now let's go to site number 4. Okay, site number 4 is my tech and gaming site. Just a quick refresh if this is your first time here. This site started out focused mostly on gaming, video games specifically. Then I did a few tech-focused articles just as an experiment. They really took off. The EPMV was a lot better than the gaming articles. So now I'm in the process of kind of transitioning this site to be more of a tech-focused site than a video game site, all with the intent of making more money, right? Although I have to say, I'm still not really impressed by the EPMV that I'm getting from this site. My top posts now are these tech-focused, articles, but I still got this really shitty EPMV. And not only that, it actually dropped in March. So in February, the EPMV was $2.65, but then here it is March, $2.36. That is insane, especially when I know there are people on Mediavine making like $25 RPM targeting the exact same topics. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, so really curious how this is going to go for me in the next few months. Now what's interesting though is traffic is actually up on this site. You know, in February it was getting around 500 visits a day, then in March we're up to 515 visits a day, but since that EPMV dropped, the total income for the site is down. So it's down to $44.54. In an attempt to kind of like keep growing this site and see if I could actually make something happen, like, hey, wouldn't it be great to get up to $100, right? I'm really focused on getting content up on this site. So I actually managed to get a crazy number of articles up, 17 new articles on this site. Again, I use ScaleNut to optimize those, but I do want to take a moment to point out to you, I don't want you to think that I'm like some like crazy content machine here. The articles that I'm putting out for this site, they are short in length. They don't take a lot of work to actually create. There's actually some duplicate information across these articles so that I basically am not writing an entire article from scratch for each one of those. So that's how I'm able to get so many of these up in a month. Basically, I just didn't want you to think that I'm just like sitting here spending 16-hour days cranking out articles or anything like that. So don't, basically compare what you're doing on your sites to my ability to get all these articles out, because at the end of the day, these 17 articles are probably the equivalent of like, 4 to 5 articles on another site. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now for the last site. Site number 5, the outdoor site. This is the one, if you recall, that I published. I launched this site with like 200 articles, and Google seems to be having kind of a hard time figuring out, like what to do with this site, because it's a pretty broad niche, outdoors, right? So the content I launched is in multiple topic clusters, and Google just doesn't know what it wants to do with it. But the good news is I think it's figuring it out, okay? So February, it was 40 visits a day is all it was getting. Fast forward to March, 64 visits a day. So that's pretty great, right? But that's where the good news kind of ends, right? Because as you can see, here we are again, that EPMV, it dropped. February was $6.84. Here we are in March, $5.09. What the hell, right? Yeah, I have no idea. But, hey, since that traffic is up, there is a silver lining here. It did manage to make more money than it did in February. So while the overall Ezoic income was only $8.39, with the affiliate links that I have on the site, managed to make $23.77. Yeah, I know that's not a lot, but I'm calling it a win at this point, right? Especially since Google seems to kind of be like getting into a good groove of knowing what this site is actually about. Now, the content that I'm creating for this site is a little more involved than for the other sites, so I only managed to get up 7 new articles on this one. I also fell into a little bit of a black hole, like doing competitor research, and that took away some of my time that I would have spent normally writing content. So like I had said, 7 new articles up. Again, I use ScaleNut to optimize those. This is a mixture of affiliate articles and basically informational stuff. So some of these are really short form and some of them are more like in-depth, like buying guides and things like that. I'm hoping as I add more and more content to these clusters that are doing well, that we'll start to see more and more traffic on this, so this one will really start ramping up sometime soon. So that's it. Just those 5 sites right now are on Ezoic. However, at the end of March, I did add a new site to my account. The ads actually did not go live though until April the 1st. So we won't really be talking about that one until the next update, but I'm really excited about it because it's been doing really well just on AdSense. I think it earned like $9.50 RPM on AdSense in March. So I'm really excited to see how much it's going to make. It is in the gardening niche, which I know pays pretty well for display ads. Just to give you a preview as of right now, so what we have like a day and a half of ads. Yesterday's RPM was over $16, so that's looking really good. I hope that kind of holds for the entire month. But like I said, we'll get more into what that site is and what's going on with it in the next update. So for right now, back to these sites for March. Total income just from Ezoic was actually down by about $4 or so, $64.23. When you factor in the affiliate income and everything else for the sites, still down, but by a greater amount, down by about $23. We're down to $120.16 just for these sites. And again, the most shocking thing for me for the month was, the sites where the EPMB actually managed to drop, because like I said, that's insane to have it drop when you're in that final month of the quarter, because it's just not normal, right? And it's especially not normal for the sites where the traffic grew, rankings got better, but then what the hell, the revenue dropped just because of the EPMB dropping. So that's not something I'm really happy about. Just a refresher, all of the new content that I did add to these sites, I am optimizing with ScaleNut now. Like I said, if you want to know more about that, I'll drop a link down below. I may even do a video showing how I'm using the content optimizer. But like I said, if you've ever used Surfer or anything like that, it's pretty much the same. New things also for the month was that I tested Humix on sites number 1 and 2. I also added a YouTube channel for site number 2. Only 2 videos up for that, just like there is for Humix for that site. So far, my conclusion is Humix isn't really worth it, at least not for the niches that I'm testing it in. I am going to keep going with it though, so I'll update you maybe in a future income report here on how that seems to go. Right now though, I'm not really convinced on that, and like I said, I did write a couple of blog posts on testing that out. I'll drop those links below in case you want to check those out as well. That's pretty much all I have for these sites. Let me know if you have any questions for me and I'll do my best to answer them.